Aloha, I'm Kiana Cayabyab and you're watching Star News Live. Here are today's top Hawaii headlines from the editors at the Honolulu Star-Advertiser. Hawaii's largest public corruption scandal in recent history is coming to close today with the sentencing of former Honolulu Deputy Prosecutor Katherine Kealoha. Kealoha was sentenced to 13 years in prison this morning for masterminding a scheme that involved bilking her grandmother out of her home, framing her uncle for a crime he did not commit, bank fraud, and other charges. U.S. District Court Judge J. Michael Seabright also ordered her to pay about $455,000 in restitution to her victims, and to serve 9 years of supervised release once she is freed. Her estranged husband, former Honolulu Police Chief Louis Kealoha, was also sentenced to prison time by Seabright in a separate hearing this afternoon. On Tuesday, 2 Honolulu police officers will also be sentenced in the case for their role in trying to frame Katherine Kealoha's uncle, Jared Puana, for this alleged theft of the Kealoha's mailbox outside their Kahala home. A statement by Puana was read in court today before Katherine Kealoha was sentenced. Puana described the humiliation, betrayal, and damage caused by his niece's crimes against him and the rest of the family. Hawaii health officials reported 85 new coronavirus infections statewide today, bringing the total since the start of the pandemic to 17,925 cases. No new deaths were reported today, so the state's COVID death toll remains at 244. Today's new infection cases in Hawaii include 66 on Oahu, 9 on Maui, 4 on the Big Island for Hawaii residents diagnosed outside the state, and 1 each on Molokai and Kauai. Health officials said 1,243 cases are considered to be active infections in Hawaii, with most of them on Oahu. Also, 2 more coronavirus hospitalizations were reported today, bringing the total since the start of the pandemic in Hawaii to nearly 1,300. Honolulu police have arrested a man and a teenager after they allegedly assaulted a 62-year-old man in a road rage incident in Haleiwa. Police said a 20-year-old man and 17-year-old boy were involved in a minor vehicle collision with the victim on Kamehameha Highway on Sunday afternoon. According to police, the suspects fled the scene and the incident escalated when they began colliding into each other's vehicles during a pursuit. The 62-year-old man used his vehicle to box in the suspect's vehicle, but the suspects got out of their vehicle and allegedly assaulted the man while he was still in his car. Honolulu police officers responded and arrested both suspects on suspicion of first-degree criminal property damage and unauthorized entry into a motor vehicle. Today is the last day of a relatively quiet 2020 hurricane season for the Central Pacific. The Central Pacific had only 2 storms this year, a tropical depression that didn't come anywhere near Hawaii, and Hurricane Douglas, which passed extremely close to the islands in late July but caused no real damage. 2 named storms are below the region's average of 4 or 5 tropical cyclones in the season, which lasts from June 1st to November 30th. Forecasters say one reason for the quiet season this year has been the La Nina ocean conditions with cooler water temperatures near the Pacific equator. Hurricanes need warm water to form and grow, so La Nina conditions usually mean below average storm seasons. But the Central Pacific's 2020 season has been in stark contrast with the Atlantic hurricane season, which has seen a record-breaking 30 named storms, including 12 that made landfall on the mainland. Finally today, former University of Hawaii place kicker and punter Rigoberto Sanchez has been diagnosed with a cancerous tumor and is scheduled to undergo surgery Tuesday. Sanchez is in his 4th season with Indianapolis Colts and punted in Sunday's loss to Tennessee Titans. This morning, he wrote about his cancer diagnosis in an Instagram post. Sanchez did not disclose the location of the tumor, but said doctors believe it was diagnosed before spreading throughout his body. Following Sunday's game, Indianapolis head coach Frank Reich told the media that Sanchez was dealing with a medical situation and praised him for playing well despite his illness. On Instagram, Sanchez said he will keep striving to come back stronger than ever. Sanchez played for Hawaii in 2015 and 2016 and led the team in scoring and punting both years. For more on these stories and all the latest headlines, subscribe to the Honolulu Star-Advertiser. Visit Hawaii's top source for breaking news online at staradvertiser.com and download the Star-Advertiser mobile app. Mahalo, and we'll see you tomorrow.